Hey everyone, Carl here with Literate Lessons, bringing you another deep dive this week. I am recording this from the past, way back when I'm recording this like right after I recorded the other one, and I thought we could talk about the first topic of our very original first deep dive, since this is episode 100, Incineroar. When I did the first Incineroar deep dive, I had no idea how popular this series would be. I didn't know what people would think about it, because I feel like a lot of the stuff I cover is very just like on its face, just right there in front of you. And so I want to thank everyone for all the support for the last 99 episodes before this. But I thought Incineroar would be a good topic because I feel like I didn't do it justice in the first episode. There was a lot that I wanted to cover, and I didn't get a chance to talk about all of it, and the format has completely turned on its head since we last talked about Incineroar. And so I feel like giving it its due diligence this episode is just a full circle, and we'll have a nice little complete round there for the first season, I guess, of deep dives. But before we get started on all that, make sure to do all the fun YouTube stuff for us. Comment down below what your favorite thing and what your favorite thing about Incineroar is, or what you hate. Either way, it's fine by me. Make sure to hit that like button, ring the bell for notifications for when new videos go live, click that subscribe button. We are at 361 subs. We blew past my 350 goal. As this is uploading, I am currently on the way to Indy. I'm excited to meet a whole lot of you there, but would love to just keep on trucking, get to that 400, get to 500, and eventually, hopefully, maybe get to 1,000 so we can actually make a little bit of money and put out better content for y'all. So way back when we started this thing, it was just a bunch of slides with information on it, kind of going over the history and all that, and I feel like we could talk about that till we're blue in the face. The history of Incineroar is very long and very history. Like, you can go and watch it happen. As soon as Intimidate became available on Incineroar, it immediately just got tons and tons of usage. And the big reason for that is mainly due to the fact that Incineroar has just so many tools as a fire and dark type with decent base stats. The big things here being obviously Fake Out, Parting Shot, being a fire type, you get access to Will-O-Wisp. I believe the signature move is Darkest Lariat, but it also gets Throat Chop, which is cool, and both have been used throughout Sword and Shield's history right now. The big one right now being Throat Chop, because you want to be able to stop everybody else's Incineroars. And so that's kind of this fun thing where it's like, you could either run Taunt if you're hoping you're going to be faster, or you can run Throat Chop to stop potential parting shots in the future. It also just happens to stop Snarl. Won't stop Yawn. Yawn's not a sound-based move, even though everyone thinks it is. But the big things that Incineroar does is just tons of utility, tons of bulk, and you don't have to invest in attack to actually deal significant damage because you have base 115 attack. This thing is a monster just when it comes to just stats and utility, and it's the perfect Pokemon, I would call it. As much as people hate this thing, this is the perfect Pokemon. This is what Pokemon all should be like. Every Pokemon was like Incineroar wouldn't be great, right? Like, if everything had good utility, good ability, strong typing, like Pokemon Intimidate wouldn't be that big a deal if everything was perfectly balanced, like Incineroar feels like a lot of the time. So the big things here that Incineroar is trying to do in this current format is just be annoying. That's all we ever see them do. They've pretty much become this annoying physical fire type attacker. Sometimes they run a dark type move depending on what you're trying to do, and depending on what item you have. In this case, we have the two more popular items in Safety Goggles and Shuka Berry, and then we've got some more niche items that have been popping up here lately, Assault Vest and Weakness Policy, that we'll kind of talk about here in a minute. But for like your Safety Goggles Shuka sets, your big things are just like Fake Out, Parting Shot, Flare Blitz. Those are like your guaranteed, I'm going to play these every single time. And if you're not playing those, what are you doing? Just play something else, right? Like, just play anything else if that's what you're wanting to. If you're not wanting to play these things on a fire type, just play something else. Play Entei, play Volcarona, play anything else besides the Incineroar. And this last move slot is kind of where things got to start interesting. Depending on what your team needs and how your team develops here, a lot of the people are just playing Throat Chop. It's super easy. Just slot, stab, stab, parting shot, fake out. This thing can kind of clean up at the end of a game. As games get dragged on, Throat Chop's really good damage. Darkest Lariat, that same vein, can do the same thing. Ignores defense changes, kind of like Sacred Sword does. Definitely want to keep an eye out for stuff like that against like Bronzong or other bulky steel types that are setting up on front of you. A lot of people also on these sets play Taunt. That's also super duper common, specifically with the safety goggle sets, because the safety goggle sets are designed to stop Amoonguss. So the idea here is to set Taunt into Amoonguss because you can't be spored, you can't be affected by Rage Powder, so you get to do parting shot things. It's just the whole gimmick here is just stop Amoonguss with this one Pokemon. And then the Shukaberry variants you see a lot against like Rinja Sun or on Rinja Sun exactly. These ones are definitely more leaning offensively because they don't have that good dark type coverage that other teams can probably fit into their team. Think like Thundurus or Yveltal or things like that. But they usually just run Throat Chop or Darkest Lair depending on whoever they want to beat at the time. But I feel like these two are going to be the most common Incineroars you see. Just overall set-wise. You still get access to cool stuff like Bulldoze, Brick Break. Will-O-Wisp is something that you can definitely expect to see on these not so bulky sets that are more just generic coverage. Another one is Burning Jealousy. This is something that's been ticking up a lot too on the Shukaberry sets because you are you live Zacian hits. If Groudon Max quakes into you, you get to burn him with Burning Jealousy. It's just a good tool overall. You don't have to worry about Rage Powder, you don't have to worry about any kind of redirection because it's spread damage. It's going to burn both as long as it's not Misty Terrain or a fire type. So definitely there's a lot of cool tools for these bulkier, grindier Incineroars to take advantage of. Next up, I want to talk about these Assault Vest sets that we've been seeing a little bit here and there. This was more common in the early Series 12, but not so much now as the format has kind of stabilized a little bit. The big things that these ones were doing was just using, instead of having access to Parting Shot, you just had access to U-Turn. And what you made up for in special defense, you got to put into physical defense, so you were just even more annoying than normal. Again, these moves don't change too terribly much. You're running U-Turn, Fake Out, Flare Blitz. The last slot can be anything you really want it to be. I've seen Brick Break, I've seen Bulldoze, I've seen Close Combat, looking to beat up things like Dialga and stuff like that, which is really have been kind of popular here lately. Leech Life is an interesting move, but it's there. So the choice is really yours. There's a whole lot you can do with this Assault Vest Incineroar set. As suboptimal as I think it is, there's a lot to be explored, I feel like, still. And like I said, what you lose in what you gain in special defense from the Assault Vest, you get to just add to your regular defense. So you can be Assault Vest with like Impish, wherever it's at, and then put some points in special defense and then put the rest in speed and then you're 4 in attack, and boom, you have a very strong bulky Incineroar set. Now you don't have access to Parting Shot, which is kind of a problem, but if you're not really worried about using Parting Shot and pivoting in and out all the time, and you only just want to worry about like hitting things with U-Turn, that's fine. Again, this is another set that Burning Jealousy is really good on. If you're not really worried about using using dark type moves, you can do that. This is also another set where you can put Snarl. This is a thing that we haven't seen a ton of anymore on Incineroars, is the Incineroar using Snarl. This is something that's it's good, but because there's other Pokemon that can do that better, you don't really want to be wasting Incineroar's move slots for that. You'd rather be doing it like with Yveltal or Umbreon or anything like that. But definitely on these AV sets, you can easily get away with Snarl, U-Turn, Fake Out, Flare Blitz, or you can just go completely special and not worry about your damage output, and instead of Flare Blitz, have Burning Jealousy. Like this is the cool part about these bulkier supportive Incineroars. It doesn't matter what set you play, physical or special, it's going to do its job no matter what. The same applies to both of these sets. Everyone always expects Flare Blitz, Physical, Incineroar because it's really good into Zacian. Well, if you know you're going to tank the hits from Zacian no matter what, this set is going to be fantastic for you. Being able to snarl and slow down special attackers, burning jealousy to hit the physical attackers that are going to set up in front of you. Fake out still is that great support move tool. You have access to intimidate still. You can U-turn out if you need to it because you're still at a decent speed tier because you're not putting everything in your special defense to survive a hit. There's a lot that goes well for AV Incineroar. I just feel like the format is a little too offensive for it to really thrive like we see these other two sets do. Last up here, this is more of a best of one gimmick thing that we see, the weakness policy Incineroar. I'm not sure exactly how much all the EVs working out for this thing, but I do know that they still run the Flare Blitz, they still run the Darkest Layer, and they still run Fake Out. As for the last move, I still believe it's just Parting Shot. Sometimes it's Close Combat too. You just kind of want that suite of coverage moves. Sometimes you just drop the dark coverage depending on your team for Protect or whatever. But these are definitely more of the more interesting Incineroars. We don't see these too terribly often. Like I said, these are the best of one gimmick. But if I remember right, the idea is to make sure you outspeed all other Incineroars so you can Protect and or Fake Out ahead of them no matter what. And then you kind of just want to do the bulky thing still, right? You still want to be the bulk. You still only put 4 in attack because your attack is so naturally high. At +2, you're going to tear through everything anyway. I feel like these ones you would want to be more specially defensive instead of regular defensive, just to make sure that you're not getting blown out by a random crit earth power or whatever, right? You have access to Protect to eat a hit, like eat a max hit, and maybe your policy activates, because everyone's always going to hit a super effective move into your Incineroar to try and take it out. That's just standard at this point. And so this little set here lets you go in, you can Protect turn 1 or Protect turn 2 after you've used your Fake Out, and then you get to Dynamax this thing and you get to roll people over. And it's cool. It's just not my cup of tea. My Incineroar, I prefer these bulkier, more support variants than this attempt at trying to be an offensive powerhouse. But the choice is really yours. This is the cool part about Incineroar, is there's so many things it can do. Like, there's still, like, I could probably fill this whole thing up and still not have enough Incineroars to talk about. Like, we haven't even touched on this, like, bulky Pinchberry Incineroar, because that's a different set than everything else that we've been talking about, because they don't care about Flare Blitz. They just want to hit you, and then they probably use Darkest Layer or Taunt or whatever as their secondary move. I've even seen these bulky berry variants with like Will-O-Wisp, and then they just get you because they survived the hit, ate their berry, and now you're burned, and now you're never going to deal with this thing. And so I feel like I said, I never did Incineroar justice the first time around, and being able to go back with the information I know now after playing for a whole year longer with this Pokemon, and kind of being able to explain why it's good rather than what it's doing, explain why it's doing it and why it's being able to essentially just push everything out of the format that everybody else loves. And as I mentioned earlier, the format has started to stabilize. Definitely expect to see some trickier teams come out here in the future. I can't remember what my numbers are. That's way too high. It's that one. That's the number. And then I believe that's my set. That's the set I normally run. Let me find... There we go. This is my standard set for safety goggles. But the format has started to stabilize. Incineroar is going to become probably one of the more pivotal build points for teams nowadays, because that's where you're going to get your advantage points, right? You're going to get your advantage points in creeping them by 1, creeping everything that's creeping them by 1, and so on and so forth. That's the format we're getting into now. Now that the format has had time to settle, we kind of gotten some really strong teams out of it. Rinya's Sun, Kyogre, Swordfish stuff, Yveltal, Groudon, things like that. Now that we've kind of started to see some solid archetypes, we're going to start to see little tweaks here and there, and a lot more mirrors. And it's going to be interesting watching how the format develops from here on out, because a lot of it I feel like is going to hinge on how good Incineroar is. If Incineroar is still good, the format's going to be pretty much the same as we're seeing it now, all the way up till Worlds. If something happens and Incineroar starts to fall off, the whole format's just going to blow wide open. Calyrex Shadow becomes much, much more powerful. Your physical attackers become much better, like Groudon and Zacian. So it all depends on where the format goes. If Kyogre somehow pushes this thing out of the format, so be it. We'll see a uprise in opposing like Zacians and Groudons and even like Solgaleo maybe. Just really big, bulky physical attackers, because you don't have to worry about Incineroar sitting there intimidate spamming or burning you or hitting you with fake out and whatnot. But that's all I got this week. It's been fun to go back down memory lane here, talk about our first episode. Gosh, I didn't even cover half the stuff I feel like I wanted to talk about from the original video. And like, I'm just looking back through some of these old sets. Like, here's this Citrus Berry. There's no speed investment. It's Calm Nature, Snarl, Burning Jealousy, Fake Out, Parting Shot. There's a Weakness Policy set here with triple attack, no fake out. Like, this is back from, I believe, Series 9. Oh my goodness, I just dated the whole series. Holy crap. But I feel like this is a fun little walk down memory lane. It's super easy to just come up with a script for this one, because I'm going to be gone and I needed to get this done fast. I hopefully will see you all at Indy this weekend. If I won't, have a great weekend. Enjoy New Jersey then if you're going to that event. I believe Milwaukee's in June. I think the registration opens for that. It either is already opened or it opened for that next week. So best of luck trying to get into that one. And again, subscribe. Leave a comment down below whether you like Incineroar. I want to hear thoughts on it. It's fun coming back to this, like I said, 100 episodes later, and being all the wiser and being able to help you all understand why this Pokemon's actually good. But yeah, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world, and we will see you all next Friday. Bye, everyone.